It was like 10:27.
You know what?
Welcome to the 20th episode of the High Vibe, guys. You got your
Peace.
boy Booze over here to the in the center. You have Asa Bay, the scholar, rocking that Mag Creates hoodie. Very, very dope.
If you gonna eat, you gotta eat good, man.
What exactly does she do? What exactly type of meals does she prepare?
She got like 3 menus. She got the raw menu for the bougie, high frequency eaters. She got the regular lunchtime, dinner time menu. She got a breakfast menu, all vegan, of course, but
And all crazy crack.
yeah, just trying to show people a different approach to consuming foods.
Great flavor profiles.
Most of her customers are not even vegan.
Oh, really?
Just because the food tastes so good, yeah.
I've seen her do sushi. I've seen her do pizza. I've seen her do
Crab
Pizza
cakes.
so crazy. Oh my God.
The crab cakes.
crab cakes.
Yes, the mock crab. I don't know what she was like, chickpea and wakame and some other type of ingredients we not about to give away, for free. Y'all gotta come in and tap in and try to play first. But yeah,
So good.
that Instagram though, what we talking about it is at Mad Created It. Yeah, Mad Creates. Let me double check. This is one of them.
It's Mag created it.
Is Mad Created It?
Yep,
All right,
yep,
for sure.
yep.
All right.
And then you got last but least the engineer day. Wait. Then you got a Kill over here in the left. He adds new jewelry every show now. This is like his new thing. 11 bracelets. He's like
Cacao.
I think I said this already probably, but you like the holistic Mr. T now.
I'll take that.
Well,
All swagged out. I'll take that.
I pity the spirit. That was terrible. Somebody
That's
going
it. I'll take that. The young kids call it drip. But I'll take
Hey.
that. I'll
Drip.
take that.
I ain't young and I ain't claiming it. Well, I'm young in heart, but I am getting mature.
Young in spirit.
I tried to be hip yesterday. I said something crazy. Allie just looked at me like, bro, it's just you getting old, bro. Just chill.
On everything. I
Last
put no cap in a text the other day, and like I had to really ask myself, is that how you use that?
Terrible.
Notice how it's going so fast. We young and it's
Terrible.
still flying
Yeah,
past.
bro.
It's like, damn, not no more.
Yeah,
Gone.
time is changing. Time is moving quickly. Yeah.
Man, what?
Well, at least
The magnetic fields.
I saw you post something about that the other day. I was going to inquire.
About what?
You put that in our group message.
You put it in our
What you talking
Survive and Thrive group about the polar
pole shifting.
pole shifting.
Oh, yeah. That has been some news out there for like 4-5 years, but I think like it's actually like a lot more evident nowadays. So where you had like energy moving from the or more so concentrated externally, like with materialism and physical things move in the physical world like money. Now you about to get back into seeing people tap into their superpowers like what you've been seeing on the movies, people operating from the inside out. Yep, just a directional shift.
So it's a direct, but it's not a physical shift of the planet.
Yeah, planet moving, by the second. All types of stuff. I done seen new animals and stuff on the internet. People done got video footage the other day and never seen before. All types of like land masses moving and shifting. Keep in mind, like the water was like covering Cali Dam there like a couple years ago, at least started to, but it's a lot of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff that you are interested in, people starting to give it more attention.
I'm digging all of the late-breaking new conspiracy theories that are coming out about Antarctica.
Oh, touch on that, Dave. Touch on that.
So there's been a bunch of them over the years. Like, so I mean, there was a, I believe it was called Operation High Jump, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
That right after World War II, the U.S. Navy like launched a whole bunch of like destroyers and shit to go down to Antarctica, and the cover story was that it was because there was something wrong. But there, like a lot of people were like, well, a lot of the Nazis disappeared, and a lot of the Nazis spent a lot of time down in Antarctica. And so we're kind of thinking they built all these tunnels and like a whole underground shelter because it's unexplored and yada, yada. And, if you pay real attention, like, because like the Nazis were really into like the whole mysticism and lore thing. And they believed that like their origin was from an alternate realm that was accessible under Antarctica. And so now that like the polar caps are melting because thanks are not giving a shit about the environment. There were the stories and photos of pyramids in Antarctica, and like where the hell did those come from? So I mean, it's just interesting.
Definitely up my alley.
Check out Dr. Phil Valentine on that too.
Man, that is definitely right up my alley.
Yeah.
I am a self-described conspiracy theorist. Don't nobody have to say I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm all into that.
Yeah.
Oh, I do. That's like crack to me.
Oh,
and it's one of I've gotten better about it. Like, because I used to be like the biggest JFK conspiracy nutbag on the planet.
Ooh, we gonna talk about that one day too.
We can definitely talk about that for a day. I think I own
Besties.
probably every book
Bestie
on the planet. But all the UFO thing. In fact, laughably, I'm going back because the X-Files I discovered at like 11:30 one night that all the seasons in both movies of the X-Files are on Hulu. Sure, let's start watching those who need sleep. Yeah.
The X-Files touches on some
Word.
stuff in that
I ain't
show.
never checked it out yet.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, dude. So that was one of those shows where it's a lot like if you're familiar with like Law and Order or like anything like that. So there's like each episode is very self-contained. Like you can watch any episode and you're like, okay, there's a story, a beginning, a middle, and end, and you're good.
Yep.
But if you watch the entire thing, there's a lot of overarching themes that you start getting into it, and like obviously the UFOs and aliens and all that stuff is the big one. But like there's the whole relationship between Mulder and Scully. There's
The guy with the cigarettes.
the cigarette smoking man, who he was actually our most downloaded episode that we ever had on our show was when we had him and Kelly LeBrock from Weird Science on. And people just could not he just told us some phenomenal stories from being on set and that kind of stuff. And he had a book, obviously, he had a book coming out, and he was going to be here for Comic-Con. So it was just, that was, and he was, so William B. Davis, just a great guy. And it's funny because sometimes it's hard to disassociate the artist from the art. And so we did the interview before Con, but then we had time set aside with him while he was here. And so you meet him and you're like, you're a dick. Skeptical Dave is skeptical. And he tells all he never actually smokes on that episode. In that series, it's
really?
It's a lot of it's CGI, or it's this, or it's like the old candy cigarettes,
Nice.
that kind of. So I mean, it was like I said, a lot of fun stuff. But yeah, dude, the X-Files. Yeah, when it comes to just like all the nutbag conspiracy theories are in there somewhere. It's great.
Best.
Yeah.
Well, then have you watched Umbrella Academy yet? Season 2.
I'm on that right now. I know what that is.
So that's all about the JFK assassination. That's
really?
That's the central focal point of this season.
Oh, I'm going
is the
home
JFK
and
season.
starting that
I haven't.
ASAPidly.
Man, I've been so busy. Like I haven't been able to just like sit and enjoy shows recently. I feel like my time has just been consumed.
Definitely haven't been watching TV, but I'm about to.
The first season was great. I'm like on episode 3 or 4 of the second season.
Umbrella?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I like it. I really like. I mean, I like.
They
the
did
concept.
such a good job with it. It's I won't ruin it since you're both in the middle of it, but it's funny because they. Like time travel paradox is one of those things that really drives me nuts because you've got the Back to the Future theory where if you go back and you change things then things go away. Then you've got the Terminator theory, which is just everything's all screwed up no matter what you do because if you believe the Terminator plot, then the kid sends the guy back to knock up his mom. But if he doesn't send the guy back from the future to knock up his mom, how does he ever exist? So then how did he ever exist in the future to send the guy back when he never sent? So there's
I see the pair. I see.
So there's that. Yeah. So there is, and they actually talk about there's an episode, one of the episodes in Umbrella Academy. He gets into the whole time travel paradox thing, and that this must happen or else I don't exist. So therefore this must be. Well. But then the very ending introduces a really big, ugly time travel paradox because, if that's true, then how can any of this be true? So it'll be interesting to see your take. But yeah, no, season 2 is like the focal event is JFK's assassination, and it's just it's so good.
Well, good thing you ruined the show for me, Dave.
No, not at all.
I know. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
But yeah, there's a kid like Jack Ruby is one of the characters in the show, and they do a really good job.
Yep.
We were just talking
All
about
I know
time.
is it grabbed my attention off the first
swear.
one. I
As
watched
soon
it
as I
back
get
to back
home.
every day.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. This is the sci-fi nerdy episode of my dreams right now.
Well, so then the new one the one that just dropped last night. If you're into video games, especially the history of video games at all,
Yeah, I saw that.
High Score just dropped last night, and it's 6 episodes, and it on Netflix, and I'm 3 episodes in so far, and it starts at
That might have to be next.
basically how video games got created, like the start of arcade games and the Atari 2600 and Pong and what happened, and honestly, and something that I had heard of, but like I didn't really remember or know, like the first person that ever invented a cartridge-based gaming console was a black man. And you never hear about, like, it's always Atari and Nintendo and that kind of stuff. You don't hear about the console that he created and did really well because, well, within like a year, Atari came out and just destroyed everything, and that was, so you only hear about that. But the whole concept of a cartridge-based
Whoa.
gaming system was created by a black guy out in Silicon Valley, and it was kind of cool.
All I hear
That's
is
crazy.
A.A. Rashid, like,
Right.
yeah. Yo, don't act like you ain't hear that. Don't act like you ain't catch that.
Oh, and it was funny
Word
because
to my mother, son.
yeah, they were like, it's so funny because they're like, you think about it, like, so apparently he was like 6'6", just this like big dude, and they're like, yeah, Silicon Valley in the 70s wasn't like it is now. So there's a reason why he was building everything out of his garage, and his day-to-day life was a little bit different. But no, that's a really, and then they get into like Nintendo and how that rose to dominance, and basically like the death of the home console between like 83 and 88, because Atari just started putting out shit, and so people stopped caring, and then Nintendo came out and just took over. And like I'm getting ready to get into the one where all the controversy around like Mortal Kombat,
That's
and all
on High
the
Score?
violence game. Oh yeah, so it's like I said, they got 6 episodes.
Oh, it's a wrap.
The history of
I
video
do
games,
remember
they would
when,
definitely touch on that.
I remember Mortal Kombat came out in the Blood Factor.
Oh, parents were outraged.
Yeah, I remember that being a thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is crazy. The graphics are incredible.
Oh yeah, the finishing moves and all that stuff. Oh yeah.
Finish him.
Yeah.
That was smooth. What was your favorite video games growing up?
I was a sports guy. So
like-
Tecmo Bowl, Super Tecmo Super Bowl.
Just only if you could be Bo Jackson.
I swear. That dude's bouncing off of you.
I was born in '88, bro. I have no idea what
And
that
it came on like 88.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was.
But
And so there was a glitch in the game where if you played the Oakland Raiders and you played as them and you got Bo Jackson,
couldn't be tackled.
nobody could touch Bo Jackson.
Like
They
would bounce
you
off of him.
would always race to be the one to
Yep.
pick the Oakland Raiders, because then you would just crush whoever you were playing. Like you could run up and down the field and just do laps around
back and
people
forth,
and piss
yeah.
people off, and that was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. And what made him so magnificent for the listeners?
What? Bo Jackson?
Yeah.
Bo knows?
Bo knows.
Bo knows?
Who is this?
Both, you don't know
So
who
he
Bo
was
Jackson
he
is?
was the first guy that
What?
did both.
I said for
that-
the listeners.
Yeah.
who
Okay,
don't
okay,
know
okay.
who
Oh,
Bo
I'm
Jackson
about to
is.
say.
All
Both,
right, you gotta pay attention, man.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
both NFL and Major League Baseball. He
Yeah.
did, so which was like a first at the time.
and was elite at both.
Oh yeah, and crushed at
Yeah.
both. It wasn't like Michael Jordan going to play baseball.
I think LeBron could have did that if he stepped on a football field.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was just more so like
Yeah.
he didn't want to
He was
risk
a,
no,
He was a
Start
top-rated tight end
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was about to say,
coming out of high school.
he's definitely built for two sports. You know what I mean? Tall, kind of like not huge. And just going back to Bo Jackson, that moment where he runs on the wall to catch the
Yeah.
damn ball,
Yeah.
he runs on the wall like a person.
Oh, so the arenas was different, where it's just like a
No,
wall on the
no.
side. What you talking about?
Oh, you talking about
he's catching a fly ball. He's running to catch a fly
What
ball.
wall is he running on?
He runs like it's the stands in baseball, right?
Oh,
the
okay,
stands
okay,
in
okay.
baseball. So like, he runs.
I'm
up-
thinking football. That's
Oh,
why.
no,
Oh yeah, no,
no.
basically, yeah, and the walls are
Okay.
all padded, and he
Yeah,
basically
gotcha.
ran up the damn wall.
He ran up the wall to catch a fly ball.
Okay.
um,
He's out of there,
superpowers you were talking about earlier.
bro. Yeah, that's a real. Cause look at the food. Look at the dumb shows. Cause these more so are like intelligence triggering, reactivating type shows, showing you what you're capable of. Remember the stuff we grew up on, like SpongeBob and
Yeah.
all that goofy stuff. look at the mentality that they suppress, and then the genetics that they suppress with the food. Like people supposed to be out here like Marvel Universe. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's another one. I watched the preview of it, but I added it to my list, but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet because I'm watching High Score. There's one that basically it's all about. There's these pills on the black market.
I started watching that one.
And apparently if you take it, you get some sort of superpower for like 5 minutes.
It's
That's
a
on
power.
Black Lightning too.
Or you
In Black Lightning.
Yeah.
that activates your superpowers.
And that's in
Yeah.
Shield.
What's
I just
the name
saw that
of
same
it?
thing in 3 different
Something
shows.
power. Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like that probably has some.
Shield.
You trying to get the name of that show?
Yeah, bro. Do y'all think? I'm gonna think about it. I'm over here struggling.
Yeah, that show. I mean, so that joint is with Jamie Foxx. It might be Powered Up or some shit like that. But I'm a
It's
sci-
new?
Yeah, it's like a movie.
Okay.
It's good. It's
I
good.
thought it would have been more famous.
Project
Jamie was
Power.
on it though.
Project Power. There we go.
Okay.
You know, Netflix be dropping
Dropped it on
joints now,
Netflix,
and
yeah.
they have celebrities in them now.
bruh.
Well,
It's
dude,
like
the first one they did that
$85 million
with,
budget on that Joker.
that was Bright.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well Will Smith.
They dropped $80 million on making
Okay.
Bright.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And that was one of those ones where I really wish they would have just like what would have made, and it was a good movie, but would have made it so much better for me is if they would have taken like 10 seconds at the start of that movie and just had like a black screen with like white lettering on it that just said, okay, hey, you remember like Lord of the Rings and that kind of shit? Okay, yeah, that's all real and that happened. Okay, now here's our movie. Go.
Yeah.
Because because I started watching it, I'm like, oh well, this is just Alien Nation, but with D&D.
Man, I'll be honest. I like. I'm not the biggest Will Smith fan in film. It's like he's not terrible. He's
It's
not.
the same him
He's-
in
yeah,
every
it's
other
Will
movie.
Smith.
He's not convincing in
Wait,
any role.
are you accusing him of being the Black Adam Sandler?
No,
Yeah.
it's a
He
few
plays himself.
bro. It's a few actors that can just be themselves. Denzel Washington being one.
Yeah.
Don Cheadle?
Don
Don
Cheadle,
Cheadle.
he-
That's my
he's a
favorite
pretty good-
actor. I
he's
just
a
had to
pretty
throw
good
that out
actor.
there. My
But I
bad.
mean, they could just be themselves.
Well, they go into characters.
And-
They go into characters
Don
like.
Cheadle is a chameleon, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, what character did Denzel Washington go into in like Training Day besides like angry Denzel Washington?
I mean, I'm not saying
It's
that's-
like the same. It's like the same dude.
I think I'm thinking of like what's the name of the movie where he plays the gangster?
American
Yeah,
Gangster.
he went into that. He went into that role pretty
You-
well.
And I would say, but I get what you're saying. On a lot of
Yeah.
roles, Denzel is just like himself, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily like, oh man.
Well, or it's what you assume to be himself.
Yeah.
Expectations.
I mean, maybe that's just his acting persona.
yeah.
Yeah.
But back to say Will Smith is not the greatest. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm still waiting on Hancock too. I'm not gonna lie.
Are you really?
Dude, I
Hancock was good.
That was hilarious. I freaking love that movie.
They're
was good, bro.
working on that.
There have been rumors about that like since it first came out, and like there's a new this and a new that and a new somebody else gets assigned to it, and it just keeps getting buried and buried. Like just come on, just make it happen.
I thoroughly enjoy Hancock, bro.
I don't remember it, to be honest.
Will
How do you
Smith,
not remember a
superhero.
drunk superhero?
Yeah, because it was. I don't know. I don't know. Just for me, it just one of those things that I like. Maybe I need to go back and rewatch it because I might have been blowed or something. Just the truth. Let's be honest. I could have been in a different mind state when I was watching it. So there's been times when I've like watched the whole series or something and then had to go back and watch the series again because I remembered pieces of it.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
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 For any listener listening and just judge me, that's fine. I'm perfect.
We all are.
We all are perfect, the way we are. Unless you're not.
Did you say your favorite video game growing up?
Man, I had a lot of them. Probably started with Mike Tyson Punch Out, then probably evolved to like Sonic the Hedgehog.
I remember that.
Classics.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
Did y'all play that Michael Jackson game?
yes, come on
Yeah,
now.
That was
Moonwalk.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Walker.
Yeah. And the movie.
See, and that's the funny part about a high score is going like, and like you could just go back because one of my big quarantine project was I got about 15 old school retro game systems hooked up in my basement to a flat screen, which is kind of a pain in the ass because there's no HDMI output on a Nintendo. There's no
You got all that AV
Oh, dude, I got video.
yeah,
I got all the
audio,
upscalers,
video, yeah.
and then I had to, and then I got HDMI switches because there's only 4 inputs on the TV, and I did. But I got it all working, and so like forcing my kids to sit down and play like old Atari games has been the greatest highlight of my life. Because it's like, oh yeah, you want to bitch about the how the graphics aren't cool in your
Look
game?
at-
Come
look at
here.
this shit.
This is adventure. You're a
out-
dot. You're a dot on a screen, and when you got one button, you got a joystick and one button. When you push the button, it lights up like a candle. That's all you get. That's gaming.
Trash.
But that's the funny thing about high score is you look at all those old graphics and you're like, oh my
Cubert.
god, that was atrocious. Yep.
Yeah, it was a game. It was like a little alien dude, and he just
Who swore but didn't swear.
yeah, he just like jumped up
On the
and
different
down.
blocks, and you had to
And,
change the
like,
blocks
pure
different
movement.
colors.
Bro,
Yeah.
it was
What was the purpose?
You just changed all the blocks to different colors,
yeah.
and then you moved on to the next screen that had more blocks to change
yeah.
with different colors. And
a lot of them
Earth.
Cubert.
that was Cube, and we actually met the guy that created him at one of the other cons. Really cool dude, a little bitter, because like at that time when you created a game, it was all work for hire, and so like he created Cubert, and it became he created the character and the game and all that stuff, and it became this huge thing. And then if you remember the movie Pixels came out, and Cubert was a big part of that, and like we didn't know. We were like, hey, so like did you get any kick from? And he was like, yeah, no.
That would have.
And then it went in and told us the entire story. We were like, oh,
Yeah,
you got
should have got some money.
you got a
off
lot
that.
of fire burning in your heart. You got-
That's terrible. That was a huge movie.
So we're talking about the 80s kind of. I was talking about the 80s yesterday, and I am outside of hip hop. I'm glad that I didn't have to live through the 80s for the most part.
80s were phenomenal. You sound crazy,
Man, I'll be honest.
especially in the city. Oh my God, bro! They used to have something called the Watermobile and the Bookmobile that would just come through the neighborhoods like a giant pool in the back and set up in the bro.
a pool on wheels.
Seriously,
Yes.
legit.
Yes.
Those were nationwide. So I was living in New England during that time, but those were
Watermobile, bro.
everywhere. Yeah.
What?
Just come through in the middle of the hood.
That just sounds like a
Just
bad
set up,
idea.
bro. It was not. It was phenomenal.
Imagine
it was-
putting
It was floating hepatitis. Like, don't let anybody fool you.
I'm
Yeah,
saying-
I'm sure you was floating in a lot of urine, but
and the
as
idea
a kid, you were more immune.
and,
Chill out.
and the idea just like basically
You've
putting
been in a pool before with somebody peed. Don't do that.
man
Don't
look.
do that.
It's just the
People
idea
just
of
pee in the
I'm not
pool.
gonna
You
putting
guys
plat
are
like
tripping.
you line a truck with plastic and you ride around with it filled with water.
That's what I was like. Basically,
it works,
picture an El Camino
Yeah,
with
that's
a
what I-
plastic,
that's what I'm
but
saying.
a lot bigger. But
Slushing around as it rides down the street.
That's not how it worked, fool.
Well, you were just adding to the 80s, kind of sucking to me right now.
You know, you actually got like fire hydrants in each neighborhood, so they would
So you
just
got fresh
fill
water?
the-
So you had to wait 4 hours for a giant pool.
No, it was a fucking fire hydrant.
no, fire hydrant. No, it filled up in like 2 minutes. Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
bro, I'm telling you, it was a ball. It was an absolute ball.
Yeah, the 80s still, it's not my
On
decade.
top of having like some of the flyest music.
I
Are
said
you
hip hop.
kidding me?
I said music. So you got that one.
Hip hop, R&B, the pop music was fly back then.
Well, I said music. What's the next one?
Yeah.
You a giant pool.
Let's see. You don't have cocaine without us in the 80s.
Yeah, that's
You don't know shit about weed without us in the 80s.
That's
Weed's been around forever.
Yeah, but we made it better. I think 80s was like, because like 80s weed was still like weed you could like socially smoke.
Yeah.
This shit today,
Yeah.
you just knocks you on your ass and
yeah.
you're done and you're over. So-
I saw a study where they said the weed today is like 23 to 25 times.
I've seen something like that too.
It was actually Weed Explained on Netflix.
And that's
25 times what?
Stronger.
more potent.
Stronger, yeah.
Yeah. than
Which
the
is why
weed
you
that
will
was in
never
the
catch me
90s.
smoking in public.
Yeah.
And that's how you wind up needing to rewatch series.
But that's a big fact,
I
though.
remember coming to work early. Guys on chinky. You
Yeah.
good, bro? Yeah, I'm straight.
Yeah.
No, but I did, so like I think 80s was probably like the last innocent generation. Like before, like you started getting crazy hinky about shit, like because like that's after the 80s. Then you've got the rise of the 24/7 news cycle, and you've
Dude,
got
being a kid in the 80s was phenomenal.
Yeah.
you got
That's
Clinton
what you- that's
getting
it.
blowjobs.
Yeah,
You got
yeah,
you get all the
That's
crazy
the late.
shit.
That's the late 90s.
That was the-
That's the late 90s. If you were around, and
So-
in my
Here's what I learned. I've always described myself as an 80s kid. what it really is I'm like 83 to 95.
Okay.
Like that's peak era to me. Cuz like after 95 music gets stupid.
Yeah.
It loses all of its message. It loses it. Yeah. But the 83 and before 83, it's all like Eddie Rabbit and I Love a Rainy Night and Bapa. No, I don't need any of that shit. But like 83 to 95, that's
you caught the golden era of hip hop, so
that's a good time
Feel
frame right
so
there.
left out.
yeah.
Ozzy was born in what?
88?
89, 88?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
My mama had me on Push It. I
you
came out to that Salt
technically
and Pepper song.
you
Really?
technically are like a
Her friends made her a mixtape.
a millennium baby.
Well, he's a millennial.
Oh yeah, and you'll never know about making mixtapes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
making
well,
somebody
like
making somebody
listening to the radio.
making somebody a playlist isn't the same.
Like
On-
listening to the radio and
But
waiting
mix CDs.
until
we
the,
did that.
the VJ
True. Okay.
or the DJ, excuse me.
You never made a mix CD? You made a mix CD.
At home, like on the computer, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like
That's
that's
a totally different
But
bag
y'all
when you're
talking
making
about-
a tape.
Y'all talking
probably
about
is.
like
Oh,
on
and-
radio.
and you
off
had
of
to
the
like
radio.
and then when you had the box with the 2 tape decks, you were the
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Because now now I can cue up the one I got recorded, and you become the master of all right. So I dude, and there's no DJ deck or anything. No, okay. So I gotta squeak it back like just a half second, and then when I start playing this one, then it'll fade and it'll crossfade, and then it'll sound better when I do it that way. Oh yeah, you'll never know the struggle.
oh yeah. You basically
It was not sweet.
DJ instead of wax, you using tapes.
He made it.
Yeah. It was not sweet.
Oh man,
Anywho. Anyways,
The 80s.
86.
what
That was a
impact did
fly.
that have on the people?
Crack.
Where we at with it now?
Ooh, man, the 80s. That was rough for the hood, bro.
That's now the 80s are what Detroit in 2020. That's the 80s. That's blame the 80s for that. Where'd it go? Where'd it go, Kill?
In Detroit, I would blame like the late 60s probably.
I would blame the
Mid to late
70s and
60s.
80s just because
The riot is what caused so much of the despair in the city until it literally went to like a 40-year just like shit show.
I think that's part of it. I'm sorry, but I think the drug epidemic in the city was probably more prevalent as far as the deterioration of the black community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, come on, man. Like,
Well, and the differentiation between cocaine and crack. I mean, they're the same damn drug.
Yep.
Why are the penalties for one 20 times
Yep.
higher than the other? A lot of dumb shit. But I've said that before, like recently to people too. As one of the saddest things about this whole pandemic to me is, dude, I've been coming down. I've been here since March of '96 is when I moved out here, and been coming downtown ever since. And like so, Cass Corridor used to be. You didn't go to Cass Corridor unless you were looking to fight or get drugs. Period. End of story.
or get a blowjob.
Or yep, yeah, that was it. And like, so, but I've been, like it's been coming back, and it's been looking, better and better. And it's sad to me, like these last few months, like dude, there's no cars on the street, there's no games, there's no traffic, there's no concerts over at the Masonic, there's no, like George, that's owned Temple Bar forever, is doing whatever he can to stay alive, during and stay open during all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's sad to see everything regressing the way it is.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been here since 2000. I've been in Michigan since 2004, and in Detroit since 2010. And you saw the evolution over the past few years. I was just saying that he was here pretty much daily a couple of years ago. We were driving down Woodward.
Oh, you talking about in front of that Henry Ford spot?
Yeah,
City
yeah,
here?
yeah. So I'm sure you saw the whole evolution of this area too over the past couple of years as it kind of like developed and
Oh yeah,
became
for sure.
a new neighborhood. Yeah. And I agree, man, it is sad. But all that just go back to the drugs real quick. I feel like it's the drug sentences. Back to the dope. Is the drug sentences were unfair, and then it's the impact on the children, on the people on dope. Like, it's a generational thing. Is worse than the money almost, man. It's worse than losing the jobs because it messed with the psychology, the mental of the community, the mindset of the community. I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were riding through a neighborhood. I had to pick somebody up, and we were riding through a neighborhood that was tore up. And he was like, "Yeah, my uncle's tore this neighborhood up." He was like, "Yeah, I had this one uncle over here, the one uncle on the other side of the bridge. He ran this shit like that. He ran this shit like that. and they just tore it up. They just, like they was undercutting each other. They was going back and forth, and like, this community got ruined from them selling dope over here. So that's my perspective on it, and I feel like what sucks even more is that a lot of that stuff was put inside of our community. You know what I mean? Like it was handed to us. The recipe was handed to us. And
there's no cocaine fields on 7 Mile. There's no there's no opium there's no opium poppies growing in Linwood. No. Yeah.
Nah, same way them bricks just magically landed up, during them protests. But my spirit told me my spirit put something on my chest. God told me to say this.
Okay.
To those people who are on drugs or choose to use drugs, let's make sure that, of course, this is supposedly not this or that or good for the babies and all that, positive stuff. But anyways, the people who do drugs, if you're hearing this message, keep in mind that it does, take you away from the real world. It's like a scapegoat. Just make sure, if you can hear what I'm saying, make sure that you don't allow that to blind you from what's really going on. Make sure you're doing some work, to balance that struggle out, until you could beat it. That's just my little 2 cents, what came to mind. I love you. We all in this thing together. And then that's, hopefully that can help.
Well, and that's the other sad thing about, the reality of the pandemic is you're seeing a spike in suicides. You're seeing a spike in overdoses because people are trapped at home, and don't have anything else to do. And that's honestly, that's one of the downsides of, people not always making the best decisions. You give somebody an extra $600 a week, and then you tell them to sit at home and not do anything. Well, Foot Locker apparently had a record quarter.
Oh yeah.
They were saying drug trade has been up over the course of the past 4 or 5 months too.
Billionaires got to the bag.
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
Billionaires
shit.
got to the
bag. The difference. There was just a meme that I was looking at today that I saved and I just haven't shared it yet. That hey, oh by the way, I found the looters, and it was like the top 10 wealthiest people in the U.S. and where their fortune was on March 1st of 2020, and where it was as of yesterday.
They all made like over $30 billion.
I'm looking at it right now. Jeff Bezos made from March 18th until now made $76 billion. Bill Gates from March 18th until now made $16 billion.
You're talking 5 months, man.
Zuckerberg made $42 billion. Buffett made $12 billion. Elon Musk made $43 billion in what? March, April, May, June.
5 months, bro. This is 5 months. This is 5 months, bro.
And
so more of the wealth shifted to the haves. The wealth gap is just ridiculous now. So again, like I done said in the past, what does the economy look like when, like what can our economy be, or what does it look like when all of this is quote unquote over?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. And I'm telling people, like, I say stuff pessimistically because I want people to be prepared for people to not have jobs. These jobs won't exist. These cats been waiting for AI to be implemented. That's what Derek Grace talks about. These guys are they have been waiting for the opportunity to create ghost kitchens where you don't need to hire people. It's a lot of things that are just like on the back burner that are like, oh man, this is the perfect opportunity. And like now we're down to $400 a week, and that's not sustainable. It's not gonna last forever. So when this is over, there's gonna be a huge influx. And I want to be optimistic about what's gonna happen in the city, but it's hard to be knowing what people will be at as far as like the disparity, the how desperate they're going to be to find money in order to maintain their living, especially when they're going to go for such an extreme too. People are eating crab legs and lamb chops every damn day, right? So you finna go from that to not being able to find a job for a long ass time, right? Think about the mindset you finna have to go through. You've been drinking Hennessy, and I'm sorry for painting my neighborhood like this, but I'm just being extreme. I'm just painting a picture. But you've been drinking Hennessy every day. You've been buying Louis belts. I tried to buy a pair of rims for my car, right? Some 17s, right? Nothing fancy. I went to this dealership called Hot Wheels. I went to 1, then I went to 2, I went to 3. They said there are no 17, 18, or 20-inch rims inside the city for my car. They have been bought up.
By who?
People would he said they happened all during the COVID checks. People getting that use their COVID checks for rims. I'm not joking.
And sneakers. Like I said, dude, I mean, Foot Locker reported a record quarter.
Man, if I would have been smart when them checks dropped, I would have invested differently. God, but to say that like
that just speaks to poor financial literacy, man.
and
years of not being educated on the proper ways to build wealth.
Let's make sure we do this. Every time we throw out a problem, throw out a solution to balance it out.
Facts.
So, John,
That's
what's
what
his
I
name?
like.
Dr. Claude Anderson just came to mind right now. You know, we talking about this. You know, we got an issue. All right, everybody, homework, research, Dr. Claude Anderson. Powernomics.
I think one of the things I talked about when Espy was here that I felt like is going to be part of the solution is people creating jobs. Like we have to create jobs. If jobs aren't there, then we're going to have to create them. You know what I mean? And that's why I think like the small business boom that's kind of happening with everybody selling plates, I think it has to be we had to diversify. We have to be more creative with how we approached it, you know what I mean, than just selling spaghetti. But I think that's part of the solution. And I think that's actually a good thing. You were talking about the riots earlier. It was one neighborhood in particular where 1,400 small businesses were destroyed during the riots. One neighborhood, not all the neighborhoods. That's not all of them. 1,400 small businesses. And that's something that's not even talked about. The small business community has been slowly but surely pushed out of the city for a long time, which is why we talked about this all the time. Little Caesars on every block, McDonald's, and like you see a handful of these small businesses in the area. So I would say that's one of the good things to be solution-oriented is that we're going to have to work to create jobs. You know what I mean? We're going to have to be we're going to have to be entrepreneurs, you know what I mean? Because the jobs simply just won't be there. And it's going to get worse again. Like, so we've on our show, we've had a guy who's an infectious disease expert. And he works with the WHO, he works with the CDC. He's one of the guys that developed the AIDS test, the HIV test. He's got like a dozen, vaccines under his belt. So he's got cred. And his whole thing is, when we were talking, it basically boiled down to, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas this year are going to be canceled. Because you're going to see just another huge spike. And then you couple that with it's projected to be a really bad flu season, just a normal flu season on top of that. And you're going to have the hospitals back to where they were in March real quick. And you're going to see things, rolling back and shutting back down. And I mean, I think it was up in, I think it's Washtenaw County. They just rolled gatherings back to 25 people from 100. Even outdoors, because they're starting to see rising and spiking numbers and all that kind of stuff again. So I mean, that's the thing is, and that's what he keeps harping on. To your point, like, look, I can tell you the bad, but you need to start making plans. You need to start making contingency plans if this happens. Like, what if that restaurant that you were working at doesn't reopen? What if that place, that you used to go all the time is no longer there? What are you going to do? But start thinking about what you do without that being there.
I like that.
There's a lot to unpack with that, man. What comes to mind? Food sovereignty. Like getting with your neighbors. Taking some of them open plots and turning them into something.
Now we at the point where it's late in the season. So how do you kind of get to it? Because we're already going into fall.
Yeah, holla at our girl Tepfira.
Holla at people who've been consistent and been on it. You gotta invest in the people who put in that work.
Yeah, this it's so funny.
Yeah, that's how that go.
It's so funny in not a very funny way that the heroes of these times are the people that stuck to the old tried and true ways of building nations, you know what I'm saying? Feeding your family, yourself, living off the land. And now when it gets like nuts and bolts, everybody is looking towards them as like saviors. I need to feed my family. That's a real, you know what I'm saying? If you are basing your life, you are running your life off of this world, off of going to grocery stores, off of the convenience that we've been afforded through this age that we live in, and that's taken away. Like, what's your next step?
You remember when Tim Ferrer? Oh man, I can't say her name. You remember
Tepfira?
What did she like to be called? T.
T.
All right, when y'all remember when T was on the show, and she was like, you drive past like a Chick-fil-A or a Popeyes, and people like wait in line for like an hour when they can just go ahead and cook a meal. You know, just the mindset, man. Just the mindset is
that convenience.
Well, yeah, if you got an hour,
Listen, I was with you to
if you got an hour to stand in line, you got an hour to cook.
Yeah, and better. And with your own ingredients, you know exactly what's going
Well,
into
but
it.
then, but I guess you look at it, and this is the thing. So why is it that I can go buy a Big Mac for $1, but I go try to buy the ingredients for a salad and it's $20?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it, so I can't, and it's, and people have been trained. We're a consumer society. We're an on-demand society. We are, so it's I want it and I want it now. So okay, I can hit the drive-through and feed my family for $10, or I can spend, $60 at the grocery store for that meal, or for a meal that I'd be happy, and then, and it's, we're in the age of, and this is the other thing that's going to be a radical shift is, all right, schools are closed.
Where are you gonna send your kids?
Well,
What you
or
gonna do with your babies?
what are you going to do about your job?
Yep.
This is a good thing, and I can shoot you a link because I was just having this conversation yesterday with somebody. The Department of Labor, in case you guys don't know this, came out with the Families First Corona Response Act. It's the FFCRA. If you do have a job, they are mandated to give you, I believe, if your school is closed or your child care is unavailable, they're required to give you 2 weeks of full pay leave, and then up to an additional 10 weeks of extended FMLA at 60% of your pay in order to basically, because as much as I'm annoyed by a lot of shit that happens at the federal level, it's almost like anything else. Like, okay, yeah. There's a lot of shit at the top, but like there are still pockets of people trying to do the right thing, and the Department of Labor is one of those. So definitely take a look out for the FFCRA, because that's a resource that you need to be aware of. Like if you need to go to your boss and say, hey, and there's other provisions for, like, if you wind up having to go into quarantine or somebody in your house winds up having to go into quarantine, there are additional things that kick in. So that's just one of those things where, as you're starting to make those decisions, you need to think about that.
Gracias. Muchos gracias. Next.
Why
Talk
y'all looking
about
at me?
Video games.
Yeah, I know this
This one was a little all over the map.
This is the whirlwind show for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad we did it though. I'm
The
glad
mixture.
every time we get together, man. Like the energy's always good, and I think it's good for me because I'm just glad we being consistent with it. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Man, this is the perfect time for Booze to explain to us the significance of
Of what?
Mars in Pisces.
What are you trying to
Booze,
flip it on
Throw
me?
it to you.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Head ass.
Wow.
Be on tip, don't he?
I feel like Booze is about to explain the significance of his foot in your anus.
I was gonna pull an Asa. I was meditating today, and I thought about the word Mars. Right? You take the A out of that, and what do you got? MR, Mr., Mrs. with an S on it.
You all cold, bro.
Well, that's what I was gonna say as you tried to put me on the spot. But man, I'm sorry, dog. You ain't let that go yet. We hadn't hit that in like 15 episodes. We let it go a long time ago.
I appreciate you.
Wow,
Still offering gratitude.
man. I think we're gonna wrap it up, y'all.
For sure. Any gratitudes?
Any appreciation?
Any appreciations? I would like to appreciate Mr. Dominic Holmes for dropping some jewels on grow tents. Got me and my family looking good over here, growing these peppers, these
Dropping
love
jewels on
bushes.
what? What
Grow,
you call-
grow tents
Grow tents.
for indoor gardening.
Why don't you give
Okay.
a little give a little background on Don? I don't know. We talked about him on the show before.
So this is a very well-rounded brother. I would recommend people go check out his Instagrams because I would like for him to represent himself. You know, I don't feel like I'm qualified to
Booze
do that.
put you on the spot
know?
again.
Right,
Well, I wasn't trying to put him on the spot.
What's his social security number? This fool. But yeah,
Dom
check
is
out that.
fly, man.
Yeah, and
Dom
he's
is
an
fly.
astrologer.
Progressive.
He deals with a lot of things. He has some chickens,
he
excellent
got,
with
like,
agriculture.
Oh man,
Just
a well-rounded cat, man.
And for those who are not afraid, he's excellent when it comes to energy too. He's a modern day magician. You know what I'm saying? Able to tweak the physicality from the inside out via energetic levels. So I benefited from it many times, like with energy cleanses.
Facts.
I know people who benefited the same.
I can attest to it.
The Instagram, I want to say, I think he has an Instagram, Dominic Holmes, but it's DOMINEC. Holmes is HOLMES. I want to believe. Yeah, but the other Instagram is Red Claw Conjure, REDCLAW_Conjure, CONJURE. Yeah.
Yeah. That was
You
it.
satisfied, Bulls?
That was excellent. I was just saying, because I felt like his name has come up, and I was just trying to say, like, trying to lead him to the
His
Instagram.
name ring bells, man. We got too many people out here in the city who you be like, what's the name? No, I don't know who is that. And then you got some people that everybody know. We need to get on the page like where everybody is doing what they doing, so they name and they frequency is reverberating through the room.
Fact.
I'll hold that till the episode stops. I got a thought for you.
Okay, cool.
Achille.
Probably I want to give some love to the psychedelic community. They showed me mad love during a psychedelic conference last Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I believe. Yeah, man, that was an experience. That was phenomenal. Tons of love. That group gives out tons of fly energy, tons of gratitude. Like they love the food, so
Well, yeah, because they're tripping.
Came through tripping. Yeah.
At the very least. At the very least.
Yeah, so much love to the psychedelic community.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
My appreciation is gonna go to.
And that was the 20th episode?
Yes.
Oh, I see what you just did right there. I'm giving this damn appreciation. I don't got it's not any to anybody in particular, just to everybody, and this is no diss if you're not working, but just to everybody who's working and they appreciate and they do their job well. And the only reason I say that, man, is because there's a lot of different things going on out in the world, right? Like you got people who are taking advantage of different systems and scamming. You got people who are just collecting checks. You got people who are just sitting at the crib, not doing anything with their time. And then you got people who, maybe have some legitimate fears. You got a lot of different things to keep people from working, man. You do. And, like, for the person who goes to their job and is stocking them apples, who's going to their job and flipping them burgers, they don't got a luxurious job, and they still go to work as opposed to collect a check right now, I respect the fuck out of that person because they're part of the people who are keeping society moving to some extent for a lot of us. And I think that it's really easy to not appreciate those people because a lot of us are in the mind state. And I'll be honest, like, shit, when I'm going to work right now, I'm like, God damn, I don't feel like going to jerk. I'm doing it because I feel like I got to. And there's some people who I know, I'm serious. There's some people who I know, though, who could not work, make more money taking time off, but they just feel like that's what they're supposed to be doing. And I respect the hell out of y'all because we need y'all to keep the world keep moving, man. Like, it's a lot of people who rely on them. You know what I mean? Maybe not the people in this room per se, but it's a lot of people that rely on those individuals to feed them, to clothe them, to entertain them, whatever they might be doing. And y'all just need some love because, like Dave saying, shit is going to get more difficult possibly. I've heard that from a number of different people that it's going to get worse for different reasons, not just because of COVID, maybe because of some astrological things. You know what I mean? So thank you all.
What? Say who?
I don't want to
Boo said it might be some astrological things going on.
I got
the
that
world is shifting.
I got that from
the world
you.
is changing.
Yeah.
I got that from you. When I said it, I was like,
just
man.
And then he quoting you.
You was like the anti-astrology. You know what? That might be that Mars inside. You said something earlier too. That's not in his birth chart. He said, yeah. Who's over there getting cosmic on you? Oof.
Man, shit. It's all about growth and opening your mind up and trying to explore yourself and be in tune with what's the truth.
Facts.
Truth is the truth. Instructor Bond said that recently, that you got your personal truth and then you got the absolute truth. And the absolute truth doesn't have to be explained. And so if something's the absolute truth, I'm going to try to get in tune with it. You know what I mean? So that's just where my mind's at.
You sound like you need to start a religion.
Oh,
Like you about to
God.
start a quote.
I don't got
Get
time
all
for that.
spiritual and shit.
All right, so that's it for us. This is the 20th episode. It's just a fun, informational. I don't think that's a word. Informative.
Yeah, I'm about to go check out that high
Pretty-
score for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes,
peace.
sir.
Peace.